I used to think my biggest enemy was out there, someone stronger, faster, more skilled, but the real fight wasn't in the ring, on the mat, or against another warrior. It was in my own mind. The hesitation before action, the fear before risk, the comfort that begged me to stop. And every day that enemy was waiting for me. There's a voice inside your head. You know the one that speaks the loudest when you're about to do something difficult. When you want to take a step forward, it holds you back. It whispers, "Not yet. You're not ready. What if you fail?" It reminds you of every mistake, every moment of doubt, every time you've fallen short. At first, it seems like that voice is protecting you. It tells you to be careful, to wait for the right time, to avoid risks. But in reality, it's not protecting you, it's controlling you. It keeps you inside your comfort zone, making sure you never grow, never take the leap, never see what you're truly capable of. The longer you listen to it, the stronger it becomes. The more you hesitate, the harder it gets to move forward. And before you know it, that voice isn't just a thought, it's a wall. A wall between you and the life you want. But here's the truth. That voice only has power if you obey it. The only way to weaken it is to stop listening. Every time it says, "You can't," prove it wrong. Every time it tells you to wait, move forward. Every time it reminds you of failure, remind yourself of the lessons you've learned. That voice will never disappear completely. But you don't need it to disappear. You just need to be louder than it. There's a kind of fear that doesn't feel like fear at all. It feels like safety. It feels like caution, like logic, like a reasonable excuse to stay exactly where you are. It tells you, this isn't the right time, or you need more preparation, or what if this goes wrong? It disguises itself as wisdom, making you believe that waiting is the smart thing to do. But if you listen closely, you'll realize this fear isn't protecting you. It's trapping you. It convinces you to stay in the same place, repeating the same routine, avoiding risks, and calling it playing it safe. You tell yourself you're being patient, that you're waiting for the perfect moment. But deep down, you know the truth. That moment never comes. Fear doesn't just stop you from taking action. It slowly weakens you. Every time you hesitate, every time you back down, every time you choose comfort over challenge, your confidence takes a hit. You start believing that maybe you're not ready, that maybe you're not capable, that maybe you were never meant for more. And the longer you stay in that cycle, the harder it is to break free. But here's the truth most people never realize. Fear never disappears. You'll never wake up one day completely fearless. The difference between those who stay stuck and those who break through isn't that one has no fear. It's that one chooses to move forward despite it. They feel the fear, acknowledge it, and take action anyway. They understand that fear is a signal, not a stop sign. It's not telling you to run away. It's telling you that you're stepping into something bigger than yourself. The most dangerous thing about fear is that it tricks you into thinking you have time, that you can wait another day, another month, another year. But the longer you wait, the more you lose. Not just opportunities, but belief in yourself. Because every time you let fear win, you teach yourself that it was right. Fear is clever. It adapts. It doesn't just come in the form of doubt or hesitation. Sometimes it shows up as overthinking, convincing you that you need more research, more experience, more validation before you start. Other times it shows up as perfectionism, making you believe that if you can't do something flawlessly, you shouldn't do it at all. But both are just different masks for the same thing, avoidance. And the longer you let fear dictate your choices, the more comfortable it becomes. You start adjusting your life around it. avoiding situations that make you feel uncertain, staying within the limits it sets for you. Before you know it, you're not just stuck, you're shrinking. Your potential, your dreams, your courage, all getting smaller because you've let fear define the boundaries of your life. But the truth is, the only way to grow is to do the very thing fear tells you not to do. To step into the unknown before you feel ready. To take action while your hands are still shaking. Because confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you build. And you build it by proving to yourself, over and over again, that fear has no power over you unless you let it. Your mind will always try to keep you in the familiar. That's its job. But your purpose isn't found in what's familiar. It's found in what challenges you. In the moments where you step past hesitation, past doubt, past the illusion of safety, and step into the life you were meant for. Fear doesn't mean stop. It means go. I used to think strength was all about power. The ability to push through pain, to keep going no matter what, to never show weakness. I believed that if I could just become stronger, nothing could stop me. But over time, I realized something that changed everything. Strength by itself is an illusion. You see, there are plenty of strong people in the world. People who can lift heavy weights, endure intense hardship, and keep moving forward. But many of them are still lost, still stuck, still trapped in the same cycle of struggle, never truly breaking free. Why? Because strength alone isn't enough. Strength without clarity, without purpose, without control, is just raw force. And raw force, when used without direction, can be just as destructive as it is powerful. Imagine a warrior with incredible strength but no strategy. He rushes into battle swinging wildly, exhausting himself, making careless mistakes, reacting instead of thinking. No matter how strong he is, he will eventually fall. Not because he lacked power, but because he lacked control. Real strength isn't just about force. It's about knowing when to use it, where to direct it, and when to hold back. Without control, strength becomes reckless. Without purpose, strength becomes empty. Without discipline, strength fades away. And this is where most people go wrong. They chase power, endurance, and toughness, thinking that if they just push harder, they'll break through. But they never stop to ask themselves, why? What am I fighting for? What am I building? What am I trying to become? True strength isn't about how much you can endure. It's about knowing what's worth enduring. It's about having a reason so strong that it pushes you forward even when your body wants to quit. Strength must be backed by vision. Otherwise, it's just struggle without progress. Think about the strongest people you admire. They don't just have power. They have presence. They know who they are. They stand firm in their beliefs. They aren't just strong. They're in control. They don't waste energy proving themselves to the world because they already know their worth. This is why strength, without mastery over yourself, is useless. If you don't control your mind, your emotions, and your reactions, then your strength isn't truly yours. It's just something that controls you. And the moment you face a challenge that brute force can't solve, you'll realize just how empty that strength really is. Strength without wisdom is like a sword with no handle. It can cut, but it can also wound the one who wields it. Power without understanding is dangerous. Look at history. The strongest empires fell because they relied only on might, forgetting that true power comes from wisdom, patience, and adaptability. A person who has control over their emotions is far stronger than the one who can lift the heaviest weights. Why? Because discipline outweighs power. A moment of rage can destroy a lifetime of work. A single reckless decision can undo years of progress. Strength means nothing if you are ruled by impulses, if your emotions control you more than you control them. Mastery over yourself is the highest form of strength. It's easy to lash out, to force your way through life, to rely on brute willpower. But true strength is quiet. It doesn't need to prove itself. It doesn't seek validation. It's the ability to stay calm in chaos, to stand firm when everything is crumbling, to remain focused when the world tries to pull you in every direction. So the question isn't just, how strong can I become? The real question is, what will I do with that strength? Because strength without direction is like a storm without a purpose. Powerful, but ultimately destructive. Your strength should serve you, not enslave you. It should build, not just break. It should lift you up, not just push forward blindly. When you finally understand that real strength comes from discipline, clarity, and self-mastery, that's when you stop just being strong and start being unstoppable. There comes a moment in life when everything stops. A moment when you can no longer run from the truth. No more excuses. No more distractions. Just you, face to face with the one person who has been shaping your life from the beginning, yourself. Most people spend their lives avoiding this moment. They drown themselves in noise, in routine, in comfort. They follow a path that was given to them, not one they chose. And when doubt creeps in, when that deep, uncomfortable question arises, who am I really? They push it away. Because answering it means taking responsibility. It means realizing that who you become is entirely up to you. There is no greater decision you will ever make than the moment you choose who you are, not who people expect you to be, not who your past says you should be, not who fear convinces you to remain, but who you truly are. Because up until now, every belief you've held, every habit you've built, every choice you've made, consciously or unconsciously, has created the person you are today. And if you're not careful, you'll keep following that same path without ever questioning if it's the right one. But the truth is, identity is not something you're given. It's something you claim. You are not just your past, your mistakes, or your struggles. You are not just the sum of what has happened to you. You are the one who decides what those experiences mean. You are the one who gets to say, this is who I am. This is who I will become. And that choice isn't made once. It's made every single day. With every action, every decision, every moment where you either rise to your potential or shrink back into comfort. It's easy to say, this is just who I am, as if you were carved in stone. But that's not true. Who you are is a living, breathing creation, shaped by what you choose to do today, tomorrow, and every day after that. Look around at the strongest, most disciplined, most unstoppable people. Do you think they were just born that way? At some point, they made a decision to stop being controlled by their weaknesses, a decision to stop letting fear and doubt dictate their actions, a decision to become the person they were meant to be. And you have that same choice, right now. Will you keep following the path that was given to you? Or will you forge your own? Will you stay in the cycle of excuses, distractions, and regrets? Or will you break free and create the version of yourself that you know you're capable of becoming? That moment, the moment you choose who you are, is the moment everything changes. Because once you truly decide, there's no going back. The world no longer shapes you. You shape yourself. But here's the part most people miss. Choosing who you are is not just about deciding. It's about proving it. Your actions must align with your decision. You can't just say, I am strong. You must act strong. You can't just say, I am disciplined. You must live with discipline. Every time you wake up early when you don't feel like it, every time you push through discomfort, every time you choose effort over ease, you are proving to yourself who you are. It's not about motivation. Motivation fades. It's about commitment. Commitment is what keeps you going when motivation disappears. It's about looking in the mirror, seeing the person you were yesterday, and deciding that today you will be better. It's about cutting off the identity that no longer serves you. The excuses, the doubts, the bad habits. Every time you tell yourself, "That's just the way I am," you're giving yourself permission to stay the same. But the truth is, you are always capable of more. The question is, will you demand it from yourself? No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to force you to improve. No one is going to hand you the mindset, the strength, or the discipline you need. You have to take it. You have to fight for it. You have to own it. And the moment you do, that moment when you finally say, "This is who I am," is the moment your life changes forever. Because after that, every choice you make, every action you take, every step you walk forward is no longer random. It is intentional. It is powerful. And it is yours. There's a moment in every fighter's life when they stop seeing themselves as just another competitor, when they stop reacting, stop hesitating, and instead become the force that others fear to face. It's not about physical strength. It's not about skill alone. It's about something deeper, something that makes even the strongest opponents feel doubt before the fight even begins. Fear is a language, and the ones who master it don't just resist it, they use it. They turn it into fuel. They understand that the most dangerous warrior is not the one with the fastest hands or the most power. It's the one who cannot be broken, the one who keeps moving forward no matter what stands in front of them. But before you can become the opponent that fear fears, you have to face the fear within yourself. Every great warrior, every unstoppable force, was once someone who felt the same doubt, the same hesitation, the same uncertainty. The difference? They confronted it. They didn't run from it. They walked straight into it, over and over, until fear learned to fear them. This transformation doesn't happen in a single moment. It's built in silence, in the hours no one sees, in the discipline that most refuse to embrace. It's in the early mornings when you rise before the sun, because you know your future self is depending on you. It's in the moments of exhaustion when your body screams to stop, but you push forward anyway. It's in the relentless repetition, the sharpening of skills, the forging of a mindset so unshakable that no opponent, inside or outside, can break it. Becoming the opponent fear fears means rewriting how you see yourself. You are not just a person training to be strong. You are not just someone who wants to improve. You are a force in the making. Every action you take, every rep, every hour of discipline is another step toward making fear regret ever standing in your way. And here's the secret. It's not the fighting that makes someone feared. It's the certainty. The absolute, unshakable belief that no matter what happens, you will not stop. That's what gets inside an opponent's head before the battle even begins. Because when someone sees that you refuse to break, that no amount of struggle can make you quit, that's when they begin to lose before they've even started. Think about the legends, the ones who didn't just fight but dominated. They weren't just strong, they weren't just fast. They had something greater, a presence, an energy, a mindset so powerful that their opponents felt it before a single punch was thrown. That's what makes someone unstoppable. And that's what you are building. Every day, with every action, with every decision to push forward when others would stop. You are becoming the one that fear itself backs away from. Because fear only controls those who listen to it. But when you refuse to be controlled, when you use it, bend it, break it, then fear becomes your weapon. Most people think strength comes from muscles, from force, from how hard you hit. But true strength, the kind that makes fear hesitate, is built in the mind. A mind that refuses to doubt itself. A mind that doesn't flinch under pressure. A mind that has already decided that no matter what, it will win. This is why warriors throughout history trained not just their bodies, but their minds. They knew the greatest battles were fought long before they ever stepped into the arena. The real fight happens in your thoughts, in your discipline, in the way you respond to resistance. If you can control your mind, you can control the fight before it even begins. Picture two fighters standing face to face. One is bigger, stronger, faster. But the other has something else. A look in their eyes that says, "I will not break." And in that moment, the stronger fighter starts to doubt, starts to hesitate. Because strength can be beaten, speed can be countered. But unbreakable will, that is something no one wants to face. That's what you are building. Every time you refuse to quit, every time you push through when others would stop, every time you silence the voice that tells you to slow down, to give up, to play it safe. You are not just training your body, you are forging your identity. You are becoming the one that others fear to fight, because they know something terrifying about you. You will never stop coming. You will never back down. You will never surrender. And that is why fear, when it sees you, starts to step aside. Because it knows it cannot win. There comes a moment when you think you've arrived, when you've faced your demons, silenced your doubts, and turned fear into fuel. You've fought, struggled, bled, and conquered. You've built a mindset that refuses to break, a discipline that doesn't waver. And then just when you think the battle is over, you realize the truth. It never ends. The greatest challenge is not reaching the top. It's staying there. The moment you believe you've won, that's when you start losing. The instant you get comfortable, the same voice you once silenced creeps back in whispering, "You've done enough. You can rest now. You don't have to push as hard anymore." That's the final battle, the battle that never ends, the fight against yourself. Every warrior, every legend, every unstoppable force you admire, they all face this same test. And the ones who truly become great are the ones who never let themselves slip into comfort. They understand that mastery is not an achievement. It's a commitment to growth, to discipline, to the fight that never stops. Think about it. What separates the great from the forgotten? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not even strength. It's consistency. It's waking up every day with the same hunger as the day you started. It's training like you're still the underdog, even when you've already won. It's knowing that the moment you stop evolving, someone else, someone hungrier, is coming to take your place. You must train your mind to see every day as a new battle. To never let success soften you. To never let comfort dull your edge. Because the enemy isn't just out there. It's within. It's in the excuses that sound reasonable, in the moments when you tell yourself you deserve to relax, in the subtle, almost invisible ways that discipline erodes. Look at the greatest warriors, the legends who stood the test of time. They didn't just rise once. They rose again and again, refusing to settle, refusing to slow down. They understood that their biggest fight was not against an opponent in the ring, on the battlefield, or in competition. Their biggest fight was against the urge to stop pushing forward. So ask yourself, what happens when the motivation fades? What happens when the excitement of the journey turns into the weight of endless discipline? Will you still rise before the sun? Will you still put in the work when no one is watching? Will you still fight, even when you've already won? This is what separates those who shine for a moment from those who remain legends forever. Those who become unstoppable understand that the final battle is never won. It is only fought, every single day. And in the end, it's not about proving something to others. It's not even about winning a title. or achieving a goal. It's about proving something to yourself, that you are the kind of person who never stops, the kind of person who chooses the fight, the kind of person who, no matter what life throws at them, stands up, clenches their fists, and keeps moving forward. Because that's what makes a warrior. Not the victory, not the applause, but the unbreakable, relentless decision to fight until the very end. Your own mind will try to slow you down. But the ones who refuse to give in, the ones who fight beyond the pain, beyond the fear, beyond the doubt, those are the ones who become legends. You have two choices. You can surrender to the voice that says, "You've done enough," or you can stand up, step forward, and prove that voice wrong every single day. Because in the end, the fire that drives you is either fed or extinguished by the choices you make. Feed it. Keep it alive. Let it burn so fiercely that nothing, not fear, not failure, not even time, can ever put it out.